Hi, and welcome to The Shit That Happens to Me, a podcast about life, love, and everything in between. I'm your host, Stacey Nye, psychologist, passionate storyteller, wife, mother, wannabe famous person. Now sit back and listen because I'm here to tell you about the shit that happens to me. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today on another episode of the Shit That Happens to Me podcast. I have a very special guest today, my childhood friend, John Malkin. Hi, John.
Hi, Stacey.
I almost said little Johnny Malkin because that's just how I remember you.
My mom and my brother still call me Johnny.
Yes,
So
yes.
you're welcome to do that.
So I usually start every episode with, how do I know you? So how do I know you?
How do we know each other? Well, we
Yeah.
grew up together since like the age of like placenta.
I know.
We grew up in the same little town of Lincolnwood, Illinois, went through the entire school system together. So we've known each other for, 4 years, 5 years. Right?
So
I have to,
I know. I have to say that, I shared this photo with you, and I'm hoping we can get it on when the episode airs. But I just remember you as this very silly little boy.
Yeah.
You were like always in trouble, but not a bad way. I think you just had a lot of energy.
I was restless.
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't have Ritalin back then.
Right.
They would have put an intravenous of Ritalin into my arm.
Maybe.
Yeah. They probably would have diagnosed me with ADD or something like that, because I used to just get up in class and start walking around.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
And I think so. That was our this picture that I have is from first grade.
Yep.
That's Mrs. Johnson.
Mrs. Johnson.
And I remember, there's not much I remember from the first grade, but I do remember taking the class picture, and you would not come and get in the picture.
That's right.
You were just like, I think probably running around the room. And so she, and she was a wonderful lady.
Great lady.
So she, kind of like brought you over, and the picture, you're standing in front of her and she's got her hands on your shoulders. And your expression in that picture is so priceless. You just are like, like
Dennis
smiling.
Yeah.
Yes.
I drove her so crazy. I mean, what are we, like 7 at that time? She'd actually demoted me to kindergarten for a day.
Oh, no.
I was like the BMOC in kindergarten for one day.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then, you and I lost touch like after that, right? Like you went, I don't think you went to college with me. I went to U of I.
Where did you go?
I went to U of I.
Oh, I went to Indiana, next state over.
Yeah.
We're Big Ten.
So,
yeah.
And now you're, all grown up, and you are the lead singer, guitarist, and songwriter for the rock band, the Simple Radicals.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, I was a musician pretty much my whole life. I was a drummer for many years. And then I took up guitar when my younger brother got my 10-speed bike stolen. And when
that sounds like a story, but I'll let you finish.
Yeah. When he said, look, take my guitar in place of your bike. I said, okay. So I taught myself how to play guitar and played through, many bands in Chicago for many years. We were we were a cover band. That's where I met my wife. She was the lead singer. And we were one of the top cover bands in Chicago, playing all the, the clubs in Navy Pier and all the festivals, and got hired to play a lot of parties and events, and then formed this original project called the Simple Radicals with a lead guitarist buddy of mine who played in the band with me in Chicago. His name is John Griffin, and we formed the Simple Radicals. And we've been having for an album release called New Revolution, and several singles out as well. And we had a phenomenal year lined up in 2020 until this thing
Didn't we all?
COVID, the apocalypse hit. But we were invited down to play South by Southwest. and we were going to play some festivals with some like Molly Hatchet and Jefferson Starship and
Wow.
Blackfoot and Blue Oyster Cult, and I mean all these bands that we all grew up playing.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, so we're writing, and we're now starting to play out again. We didn't want to do that, but we've been playing here out east, and then we're about to we're playing a great show called at a venue called the Fairfield Theater Company in January, on January 14th. And then we're trying to lock down some Midwest dates as well. So hopefully we'll announce some dates shortly. So it's been a ride. It's been a great ride. The music is very kind of retro classic rock, which is the music that I grew up with. So it's kind of Foo Fighters meets Pearl Jam meets Petty meets Green Day meets Cheap Trick, kind of all molded into one. So
nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
It sounds like fun. How'd you come up with that name, the Simple Radicals?
Well, the band, the Free Radicals, was already taken. I just always loved that name. And so, speaking to our attorney, he's like, hey, you may not use that one. So I talked about it with John, and we kind of came up with another permutation called the Simple Radicals, which kind of sums me and John up. We're a little radical in our own way, kind of think, I mean, ever since first grade, I was kind of like charting my own course. Can't sit still. So, so it's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's really exciting. I mean, if you've listened even to one episode of this podcast, you know that I've always wanted to be famous. I kind of make a joke about it. I can't
You are
sing.
famous. You have your own podcast.
I have my own podcast. Yeah. I don't famous is a bit of a stretch, but
You're famous. Your family thinks you're famous.
I can't sing at all.
Oh.
I'm pretty bad. And I don't play any musical instruments. I took piano lessons as a kid, which was, not fun.
No.
I mean, the teacher was, probably 200 years old.
Oh,
and,
my goodness.
That's just not fun for a little kid.
Yeah. So I did not want to, I took drum lesson for years. I did not want to take guitar lessons. I probably from, just being an ADD kid, I did not have the patience. I would never have the patience. I can't read music like many other musicians, but I would never have the patience to sit through guitar lessons. So I literally bought songbooks, and they would just show you, where to put your fingers for the chords, so I bought a Who book, and, it's like, all right, here's a C and here's a D, and, and I just learned by playing other songs. And then eventually, hey, that sounds about right.
So you're the lead guitarist based on you teaching yourself how to play the guitar, you're saying?
Right. I'm not the lead guitarist. I'm not a shredder. I'm the rhythm guitarist. But I write all the songs and do the lead vocals. So.
I mean, I don't know anything about that. I think that's really cool.
It's really fun. And we also have a podcast, not to be competitive with you.
No, go for it.
Yeah, it's very different. It's called Music in a Brew, and it's really cool. It's a studio that I work out of here on the East Coast. We built a custom set, and what we do is we sip craft brews with rock stars. So we've already, you remember Todd Zuckerman?
Well, yes, of course.
Yes.
That's another childhood friend of ours.
Yeah, for those listeners, Todd Zuckerman grew up in the great town of Lincolnwood, Illinois, and is the drummer for Styx. And actually, I don't know if you knew this, Stace, but he was voted one of the top 100 drummers of all time. So he's amazing. So he was on my podcast, and we did one with Kenny Aronoff, another world-class drummer. We just did one with Jose Feliciano, and we did one with Mark Farner from Grand Funk. And spoke to Vernon Reed from Living Color. So we got some really cool shows coming up. So yeah,
that's
podcasting
awesome.
Is fun.
It is fun. It is fun. What's the name of the podcast again?
Music in a Brew. We'll find like a local craft brewery, and we actually have the artist drink the beer. Yeah. And they sample it, and we talk about it, and we talk to the brewer and get to know the brewer, and we get to know the artist, and it's a lot of fun.
Nice. Everyone should check that out.
Yeah.
So do you have a craft beer with you tonight?
I'm a silly guy. I do not. What am I thinking? Do you? Are you?
I'm a cider drinker. I usually have a hard cider with me.
I'd run and get one, but I don't want
to. Go get one. Go get one.
You sure?
Yeah, go get one.
All right.
Well, I'll talk about you when you're gone.
Okay, I'm gonna run and get a beer. Hang on.
Okay. So let me tell you about John. No, I'm just joking. He's really a great guy. And he was just the silliest little boy that I ever knew. And yeah, he's been showing his stuff on Facebook lately. And I thought, oh, well, he should definitely be on my podcast. I just got a message from Katie Beth, but I was looking somewhere else and I missed it. So she probably told me to shut up or something. But nevertheless, I'm still talking, which is the joy of podcasting. I can do anything I want. I'm glad you got that. I have to tell you, I was just talking while you were gone.
What were you saying?
I don't even know what I was saying. I was saying, yes, cheers. There we go.
Click.
I was saying how silly you were. And then a message popped up from Katie Beth that I missed. So then I started talking about how I missed the message. And she probably told me to shut up, but I missed it. And so I just kept talking. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
what kind of beer do you have there?
I am drinking an Allagash White, which is a delicious Belgian wheat beer.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Delicioso.
So, well, now we can get into it. Now that
how'd you come up with the shit that happens as a name? That's just there's so much shit that happens, but maybe a stupid question, but
I would encourage you to listen to my first episode, where I tell and everyone. I think there's a thing that when people find a podcast, they don't listen to the first episode. I really like my first episode, but it's like all me talking. I had this experience happen. I went on stage with podcasters that I listened to. They were doing a live show. I got called up on stage. It was a very exciting moment for me. A lot of people in Wisconsin heard it and were all like, hey, you're the bomb. And so I was like, well, I should do a podcast now. And I just was thinking like, there's so much shit that happens to me that it just was the name. And one of the funny things about it, I was just telling this to someone the other day that I showed my husband, like I made this logo and I showed my husband and he goes, do you have to swear in the title? And I went, yeah.
I think you do.
Yeah. He goes, can't you call it the poop that happens to you? And I went, no.
That'd be hosted by like a 7-year-old or something
like
that.
Right. He's like, what did he say? He might have even said, did he say the dung that happens? I don't know. He said something so stupid. And I just looked at him and I said, we're done talking about this. Give me my phone back. So now
the title.
Yeah. The downside is when you have a swear word in your title, you can't boost any post on Facebook or Instagram.
Right. Oh, shoot.
So all 75,000 downloads is all organic, man.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Now is this on YouTube or when YouTube on?
It's on, yes. So the video we have this summer started doing YouTube also. So yeah, you will be on YouTube drinking your beer.
Fantastic. Wow. Exciting.
So yeah. So you have some stories about like shit that's happened to you being in a rock band.
Well, actually, I've had the privilege over the years of meeting a lot of rock stars, and hanging out with some cool entertainers. And there's a couple stories which is kind of fun. It's a shit that happens to me kind of story.
Yeah.
When I was at Indiana, I was on what's called the union board. They have the big student union there, and it's they have a group of students that program activities for the campus, like lectures and films and things like that. I was a concerts director, and we booked some pretty major shows. We actually were we call like a direct book. We would actually deal directly with the agents as opposed, or the booking agency, as opposed to having to go through promoters and just deal directly with the bands. Because we brought in a lot of big bands. So, like I brought in Neil Young and the Stray Cats and things like that. And there was a guy, you might have heard him, named George Carlin. Remember that guy?
Of course I remember George Carlin.
For all you kids out there, if you're listening, go check out some George Carlin stuff. It is.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the top comedians of all time. Anyways, so one of the committees was doing a program called, like, they were doing like a campus comedy competition where kids would come in and, do stand up, and we were at one of our meetings. I said, hey, how about the winner gets to open up for a major act? Oh, it's a great idea. So I'm like, all right, I'll book an act. So and I'm thinking, like, who do I know? So we reached out to George Carlin's people. And we said, hey, would you mind, you want to come to Indiana University and do a show? We got the auditorium with seats like 3,500 people. And they were like, yeah, that sounds great. And I said, and we'll have an opening act for you. One of the kids, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's fantastic. Just here's what we want. Here's our money. And yeah, okay. So George was had just had like double, triple, quadruple bypass surgery. So he was kind of hitting the road again.
Yeah.
And so they said, hey, can you come pick us up? They fly into Indianapolis. I go pick them up. And it's like an hour drive up to Indy from Bloomington, and go get them, bring them down, do the show, bring them back up to the hotel. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I go to the
peasy.
Easy peasy, right? So I go to the airport, and the show's at 8:00, whatever. And his flight gets in at, I don't know, 5:30. I mean, it was kind of close. But whatever, plenty of time. So I get to the airport, and this is when you could actually walk to the gate and wait for people.
Yes.
Remember that?
I do.
Oh, that was a good old days. Anyway, so I go to the gate, and I'm waiting there. And, I had a picture of George Carlin, young, whatever he's doing, like this, in his profile picture. Yeah, but there's a lot of hair, and I'm standing at the gate in Indianapolis, and everyone's piling out. And there's no George Carlin, and the pilots come out. When it's the end of the plane, when the pilots walk out with the flight attendants, right?
Yeah.
And I said, is there anyone in there? And they're like, no, it's empty plane. I'm like, oh my God, I got 3,500 people sold out at the IU auditorium, and I got to bring the comedian. So I'm panicking.
No cell phones.
No cell phones.
No cell phones. Nothing. Then, yeah.
So I run down. I'm like, oh my God! I run on to baggage, and I see like this crinky little crumpled up old man standing there. And I'm like, I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, okay. I'm like, ping, 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 Mr. Carlin. Huh? I'm like, oh my God, where, he had walked right by me. And,
oh my goodness.
And I'm seeing him in his young, spry, profile pic. And he had just literally had surgery like a week ago. So he was much more gaunt and looked a little older than,
Maybe so he shouldn't have been traveling.
Right. He was probably like, okay, I could travel again and make some money.
Yeah.
He was with his manager. So I'm like, oh my God, thank God I found you. So we go, grab his bag, and then we go to the rent-a-car, and I'm sitting next to his manager, and Carlin's in the back, and it's, this is February. So it's in Southern Indiana. So it's not freezing, but it's, like maybe 40. There's some snow on the ground. And so we drive down, get down, to Bloomington, and packed house. Everyone's just so stoked to see Carlin, right? And he comes up to me, and he's like, look, right after the show, I don't want to sign autographs. I just want to, I think he's probably, he's like, I just want to get back to my hotel. They're staying at a hotel by the airport. Let's just drive back. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Yeah. So he does a show, and it's freaking unbelievable, right? The place is just ripped to shreds. Everyone just loves him. Good night, everybody. All right. So we walk out the stage door, and there's my rent-a-car from, the university's rent-a-car. And we get in the car, Carlin's manager next to me, and Carlin in the back. So we're driving up, Indianapolis. So it's probably about, 10:30 at night. And so we're on 465 heading to the airport, and the car starts sputtering. We're on the highway.
On the highway?
On the highway.
Oh, yeah. No.
So I pull off on an exit ramp and stop the car. I'm out of gas.
No.
Because, when you're that age, who puts, don't you get a car that already has gas in it? Especially when it's not your car and the university car. So I'm like, we're out of gas. So, like, okay. So me and Carlin's manager get out of the car. George is in the car, sitting in the back seat. And we walk across like the infield of the exit ramp, and we're on 465 trying to flag down a car because we're stopped. We're stranded, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's just zooming by. Yeah. And we look back.
I wouldn't have stopped for you.
Thank you.
No, I said I
you would
wouldn't
not
have. No.
I wouldn't have stopped for me.
No.
I mean, look at us.
Yeah.
So we look back, there's a car that pulls up right behind our car. I'm like, oh my God. So we run back and through the snow, it's not that deep, but at least ankle high, run back and all that. And this very nice, very African sounding gentleman. He said he was from Nigeria or something like that. I mean, very thick accent. And we told him what's going on. He's like, oh, I will take you to get gas as long as you pray that I get back together with my wife. And so Carlin goes, oh, he goes, yeah, no. He goes, how long have you been apart from your wife? He goes, 11 years. And Carlin goes, that's going to be a lot of praying, but let's go. So George Carlin and his manager get in this stranger's car, some beat up car, and take off. So I'm sitting in the car by myself on this exit ramp, cold February night, and my emergency flashes are on. And I'm thinking, they ain't coming back.
No, why would they?
Why would they? What do they owe me? Like, we gave him his money. I mean, he's done.
You got him into that mess in the first place.
Yeah. Now I'm just like, I'm screwed, right? So I'm just sitting there, and again, I'm like, I don't know what even to do. All of a sudden, these big headlights come behind me. I look back, and there's kind of like this truck pulls up behind me, and it's an Indiana Power electric truck, whatever. He's a utility guy. And, big old truck. And he's like, hey, man, this is before you used to worry about like you thought you were going to get kidnapped or molested. Right. You just go, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And
stranger pulls up next to me. Hi.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm out of gas. A couple of friends of mine went to get gas. He's like, oh, you want to wait in the truck? Oh, I love to wait in your truck. Again, not thinking like we would today. Like, I ain't waiting in your damn truck. What, are you kidding me? Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'm waiting in his truck. So I get up in his truck, and he's got the light on, and we're chatting and blah blah blah. Nice guy.
Yeah.
And I go, are you a George Carlin fan? He goes, oh my God, love Carlin. I got all his albums. I said, well, that's who went to get me gas. Get out of here. No, I'm serious, man. George Carlin, get that. Yeah. I'm telling you, George Carlin went to get me gas. Okay, so we're chatting. It's probably a half hour goes by, and I'm thinking he ain't coming back. Sure enough, here comes the car around up the exit ramp, and out walks George Carlin's manager and the very nice gentleman. Yeah. And with a gallon of a gas can, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And Carlin's holding the gas can. I'm like, and the guy in the truck sees Carlin walk out. He's like, his mouth just went like, like that. He's like, I told you, right? That's George Carlin. So we put the gas in the car, right? And Carlin's like, oh man, I think you guys, let me, again, there's no emails, and give me your addresses. When I get back, I'm gonna send you an autograph album. I'm like, oh great. So we get the address and all that. All right, goodbye. Great to see you guys on that. So I get in my car and start the car, the battery's dead.
No.
Yeah, battery's dead because the flasher was going all night and it killed the battery. So now we have a dead battery. So we're thinking like, all right, the truck can't jump us because it'll probably just blow us up. So the very nice Nigerian gentleman said, oh, I'll jump your car. Because, the guy said, yeah. So he does a U-ey on the exit ramp, comes in, pulled the guy, now the utility guy is like, I can do this. Yeah. I start my car. Great. Car starting. Fantastic. Hey, great to see you. I'll send you an autograph picture and all that. Yeah. We all get in our cars. The guy in the power truck tries to start his truck. His truck's dead because he had his lights on and all that. So his battery's dead too. So we're now like, well, how are we going to get your car? How do you get your truck? Because we can't jump your truck. We're not going to power your truck and all that. The guy's like, well, here's how we do it. We'll push the truck backwards and roll it down the exit ramp a little bit, and I'll pop the clutch. So there's me. At this point, I don't care who George Carlin is. I want to go home.
Right.
It could be.
But you can't leave this guy.
No, it could have been John Lennon. At this point, he's just a human being right now. I don't there's me, George Carlin, his manager, the power electric guy, and the guy from Nigeria. Yeah. Now, this is a guy that just had quadruple bypass surgery. And I'm thinking like the headline tomorrow is Indiana University student kills George Carlin. Pushing this truck backwards down the exit ramp. We get it. We push it as much as we can. He gets in there, pops the clutch, starts the car. Hell, great to see you. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now we're back in the car, the heat's on, we're all freezing. And what hotel you at? Oh, I was at, I don't know, I'm the Ramada. Right. Okay, great. I know where the Ramada is. Yeah. So I'm driving and I'm like, huh, where's, where's the Ramada? I thought it was right there. Driving like an hour. Just can't find the freaking hotel. And so I pull into, I'm like, now I was like, I don't even know where this, I'm just like, I don't know where it is. I'm just like, don't bother. I don't know where the hotel is. So I pull into another hotel. I'm like, where the hell is Ramada? And the guy's like, oh yeah, they changed their name to the roadway. It's right there. Like, really? So anyway, so I'm like, Ramada is now a roadway. You didn't tell me that, I don't care. I don't give a crap who he is anymore. So I finally pull up and we get there. Now we left at like 10:30. We should have been 11:30. It's 2:45 in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
He gets out of the car, hands me $20 and goes, I actually had a lot of fun tonight. and never saw
that was
George,
the end. Yeah.
Never saw George Carlin again. So for like the first 6 months, like if he was on a show, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch him to see if he brought it up.
No. Huh.
Never saw him.
And did you ever get your signed album? No.
I don't think I didn't give my address. I didn't care anymore. I wanted nothing to do with that guy.
That's quite a story.
That was a wacky story. And I came back and I told every Thursday night or Tuesday night, we had the union board, the students sat, like 13 directors and the advisor, we all sat around and they're like, okay, lectures, what's going on with you? Well, I said, oh, okay. And films, oh, we're showing this. I said, oh, John, why don't you give a recap of the Carlin concert? I have a story to tell. Yeah. And I told a story and they're like, wait, what? And no, they're like, you can't be making this up. I'm like, oh, I'm not making it up.
Yeah, you can't make this shit up.
That shit happened.
You would think he would have somehow integrated that into his stand-up, because that is shit that happened to him, not just you, but him.
I mean, maybe he didn't find it funny.
Well, he gave you $20.
He did give it for a college kid that bought beer for like 9 months. Are you kidding?
Wait, what kind of beer? What kind of beer were you drinking?
Oh my God, a nickel beer night. I was set for like a year. So that was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually did see him years later at a. I was invited to play. Remember the company called Ameritech? Yeah. In Chicago. I don't know if they're not around anymore. They were having a pro-am tournament, and a buddy of mine asked me to. Wanted to know if I wanted to play in the pro-am for a day. So you pair up, two amateurs play with it was like the senior tour. Oh. And so I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So I had fun playing all that. And then they were having a dinner that night. And they said, oh yeah, and the entertainment tonight is George Carlin. I'm like, George Carlin, oh my God, can I say hi to him? I mean, he probably would have remembered me. He'd probably been like, oh yeah.
That kid.
Yeah, but they're like, no, we can't do. It's a big phone company, right? It's like, okay, and so I'm talking to the woman who's organized, this young woman. She's probably in her mid-20s. I said, this is the seniors tour, so everyone's like 900 years old, right? I said, are you familiar with his content? Oh, I mean, because they had no exposure to him. They don't know who this guy is. Again, there's no internet, so can't go onto YouTube and go, oh,
right.
I was like, okay. So I called my wife. I'm like, hey, George Carlin is playing at the dinner tonight. Do you want to come in? So, yeah. So she drove up, and we're sitting in this room, and the average age is like 80. It's all the Ameritech executives and their wives and their clients and their big, the politicians. I mean, it's this big fancy dinner. Everyone's in suit and tie and nice dresses. And the CEO of Ameritech is, getting out talking about the senior tour, and then he's so excited to have George Carlin. And I'm at the table. It's probably 200 people, all white, except for like four African Americans sitting at my table. Yeah, we were having a blast. We were just, our table was just fun, and we just, we were like the young table, like they say, like the kids table, and we're just cracking up and all that. And then the guy gets up. He's like, all right. And now George Carlin. And I'm just like, and so Carlin walks out and he does this. Literally, he looks around before he even starts talking. And I leaned over to my wife. I go, uh-oh. He lit into saying every way to say the word vagina. Swearing, and the crowd was dead silent.
I bet.
I mean, he just was like, I got my money.
Yeah.
You want to hire this guy to play a corporate event, and just ripped. And then he started going into the off-color jokes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, uh-oh. And the only table that's laughing is us. We're dying. He's telling like some terrible racial jokes. I mean, especially today. I mean, especially in anything. Yeah. But he was just letting it rip. And, I was just like, and everyone, we were laughing. We're all that, but people were just like astonished. And then he drops the mic. He's like, and good night.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That was the last time I saw George Carlin. So shit happens.
Yeah. I mean, I was telling my son about, what you had written on your sheet for me about George Carlin. And I said, do you know who George Carlin is? He goes, no. I was like, yeah, you have to look that up. Because didn't he like do that whole bit with the 20 words you can't say on television?
Like the 13 words, which is obviously expanded today, which now you can say everything on television.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy. That was shit that happened to me.
Boy, twice. You and George Carlin.
Yes. Well, he's in a different place right now.
Yeah.
He's in that comedy club in the sky.
Right. Still probably saying all the swear words.
Yes. Yeah. And at the same, when I was as concert director there, I got to hang out with Eddie Money, another dead.
Yes. Tell me about that.
Dead people, but I booked Eddie Money. He had just came out with a new album called "Where's the Party," and he was going around touring, finding parties. And he got into campus early, and I was, he was just, I don't know. Oh, he was on his tour bus, so yeah, he was with his band and his people. Real down to earth dude, a New York guy, and so we hung out all day long. I drove him around. We went to record stores, and we just drove him around campus, and I said, here's where I live, and he was just the nicest guy,
Yeah.
And then he was just a cool guy, real down to earth, and he's like, hey, after the show, why don't you come on my hang out with me on the tour bus? Yeah.
Oh my God, what a thrill.
So he does a show, and I'm a Eddie Money fan. I mean, not a lot of people like Eddie Money, or some did. I mean, I was a huge Eddie Money fan, still am, and he put on a great show.
Yeah.
And finished up the show, and his bus is parked, right outside the auditorium, and I'm like, all right, go backstage, and we're hanging out, and then he goes on his tour bus. I'm like, walking on the tour bus, Hey guys,
you're bored, yeah.
We sit down, he lights up a joint. Now I don't really do drugs. I didn't do drugs. I mean, crazy. Not even in college. I didn't smoke pot much. Maybe a little bit. But he's like, hey John, I'm like, oh yeah,
you bet.
I'm getting stoned with Eddie Money.
Yeah.
So he hands me his joint. I took a hit. Pass it back. That shit was strong. I saw like 6 Eddie Moneys.
Yeah,
around,
I bet.
I started craving Doritos, and like, is that cheese for you? Can I have a little of that cheese? Oh yeah, oh thanks. I got a little cheese. Is that salsa? Got a little salsa? Oh yeah, go thanks, Eddie. I'm eating this dip, and his munchy tray.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So.
And his whole band was there, right? Or was it just the two of you? Yeah, the whole band.
Yeah, that was great.
And I'm trying to imagine like what a rock star's tour bus looks like. Like
nice.
After a show. You don't have one?
I do not have one. No, it's nice. It's all decked out. They got the beds in the back, and the bunks, and the master bedroom in the back, little kitchen, a bathroom, and it's all, it's like.
Were there like groupies there too on the bus?
No, I was the only groupie.
You were the only groupie.
I was the exclusive groupie.
So
that's that's my shit that happened with rock stars and comedians.
I mean, that's exciting. I could talk about celebrities all the time. I've met a few celebrities, but
Who have you met?
never been invited on anyone's tour bus
Who's the most
before.
famous celebrity that you've
Wow.
experienced?
I mean, it was pretty exciting. Met Al Pacino.
Oh,
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
wow.
And
Where?
in New York, saw him I met him, meaning like I saw him, do a play, and then
Oh.
I waited afterwards for an autograph, and
Oh, when he comes out?
when he comes out, and we had a locked eyes moment.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
He's like,
So
who's this girl?
yeah, that was pretty exciting.
Attica.
And
You guys do
um
autograph?
I did, but I probably
Little.
didn't. Yes. Well, that was so part of the story was he came out, he literally signed to every person's autograph. He was really a mensch. And he came up to me, and my husband, Steve, was in the background. Again, no cell phones. This was a long time ago, but for some reason, Steve had his camera, and
Oh, wow.
he bent over to sign my autograph. And so he was short, right? And he was literally like right here in front of me, and he had all this like long hair. So again, this is like in the 1990. So he was like, he's like an old guy now, but young, handsome, right here in front of me. And I kind of whispered in his ear, like, "You were wonderful." And he like lifted his head, and we locked eyes, and he was like, "Thank you."
Snap the
And I
picture?
was just, Steve got a picture of the top of his head. that was the picture.
Can you tell it's Al Pacino or no?
No, not at all.
At that moment, I would have left Steve for Al Pacino.
But I didn't know that, because that was back in the day when you had to take the pictures, to like Walgreens to be developed. So 2 weeks later, I had a picture of the top of Al Pacino's head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you had your moment of glory with Al
Yeah,
Pacino. That's exciting.
Yeah.
He seems like a cool guy.
Yeah. And there's no celebrities here in Milwaukee.
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, fuck Aaron Rodgers. I was wondering if we were going to get through recording tonight without talking about Aaron Rodgers. What an asshole.
Yeah, man. Oh. Well, I guess, yeah, he's, well, first of all, every time I see him, he's got a different haircut. Now he's got that Billy Ray Cyrus mullet going. He's, he's a great quarterback. And I guess, he's one of those guys that's like, I'm a quarterback and don't think of me any other way. I'm a guy who plays football, and I'm not getting into politics. I'm just playing football. And screw everything, screw you guys. And all right, there you go.
I hope he doesn't play on Sunday. I hope.
Well, it's just rude that he lied. He lied. I mean, he could have.
And then he didn't follow the rules. So
he followed the rules, and and maybe people who were vaccinated maybe would have stayed away from him if now everyone's
right. He was supposed to have a mask on.
Supposed to have a mask on, right? And he said he was immunized, which, so yeah.
He knew exactly what he said.
Totally. So, well, there's some good music that's coming out of Wisconsin. Bodines, right? What other some great musicians?
I'm going to tell you, you're going to be disappointed in me that I don't listen to music
at all.
Not much.
What do you listen to?
Podcasts? I listen to audiobooks and podcasts. I'm kind of obsessed with audiobooks right now.
Interesting. Okay.
So, that's how I relax. Music. Not really. I mean, my kids listen to music, but I don't. My younger son's a musician himself. He's a drummer and taught himself how to play the guitar, and
nice.
So they're into music, but no, I know.
Oh, okay. Well, I know what to get you for your birthday. A Zeppelin album.
Yeah. I mean, I know music. I don't even know if that's a fair statement to say that I know music. And the music that I might listen to is like old music.
Like classic rock or like 50s?
No. Like
60s?
60s, your face. You don't approve of that at all.
Oh, no. I love it. Are you kidding? Some of the greatest musicians came out
Elton
of the 60s.
John and, Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah, they're 60s. Elton was 60s, kind of more
70s.
70s, yeah. Okay, well, classic rock, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But
No, no. Well, there's a band. You ever heard the band Living Color?
I haven't. Tell me about them.
They were a band. Their big, huge hit was Cult of Personality. It
Hmm.
was a big, big, huge song for them, like 87, 88. They were huge. They came out of nowhere. A incredible rock band, and came up with a song and then started touring with the Stones. I mean, these guys
Mhm.
just skyrocketed to fame very quickly. When I was writing, finishing my album called New Revolution, this is 2019, and we had laid down all the tracks, and we were just getting into mixing and doing the final audio and overdubs and things like that. And I was having lunch with a buddy of mine in New York City who manages rock stars. He manages Motley Crue, Poison. He managed Steven Tyler from Aerosmith for many years, and he also manages a band Living Color. And I had my laptop, and we were working on this, finishing up this one song called Medicate, which is I wrote as about the over reliance of on medications and in our society. And I played it for him because we were just getting to the final editing of it.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Wow, he goes, this is a really good song." And he said, "I'm wondering, maybe you want one of my musicians, one of my artists to play, excuse me, this beer, to play on your track." And I'm like, "Oh my God."
What?
Who we talking about? Joe Perry from Era? Who we talking about? He said, "No." He goes, "I think." I want to present this song to Vernon Reid, a Living Color. Now Vernon is one of the top guitarists of all time,
Mm.
like maybe number 60 in Rolling Stone's 100 guitarists of all time. Incredible guitarist, faster than fast, and an absolute shredder. So I'm like, "Oh my God, yeah." So he called me about a week later. And he's like, "Yeah, Vernon loves this," because I told him I said, tell Vernon this is about, it's called Medicaid. It's about the over
Yeah.
reliance and over dependence on drugs and blah blah blah. So there's a message, meaning behind the madness. And so he's like, "Yeah, no, he loves the song, loves the whole meaning and all that. He'll play on the tune." I'm like, "Oh my God."
Wow.
So he goes, "I'm just going to connect you. You're going to connect me with Vernon Reid." So I'm chatting with Vernon Reid on the phone, and I'm
Wow.
just like, and I mean, this guy is just he's a total rock star. I mean, and he's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
And I said, he started asking me questions about the song, and I'm like, I go, "Vernon, I said, the lead guitar that my guitarist put on it, I'm going to send you the version without it." Because he didn't, I can't remember if we sent him without the lead guitar. Maybe we did. I said, "It's an open canvas. I'm not going to tell you to do, you're freaking Vernon Reid.
Yeah.
You tell me what I should do with this song." He's like, "Oh, okay." So I sent him the track, and he was texting me throughout the week. It's like, "Oh, because he's like, I could get it for you by whatever Friday." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sounds good. For Saturday's good too, whenever you
Mhm.
want."
Yeah.
So he's texting me, "Oh, hey, how about come Monday? Because I want to change some things." And I'm like, "Take two. You can do Tuesday."
Right.
So he sends over a bunch of different tracks, and I bring it over to the studio, and the studio is like, "Oh my God, it's incredible." So we were sitting there behind the board, and we were listening to. He didn't phone it in. He did like 6 or 7 different
Oh my
versions,
goodness.
and we were just like, "Oh my God, this is like the
Your
real.
son.
This is the real deal. This guy did
Yeah.
not like phone it in." And so we ended up. So if you listen to the song "Medicate," we're on the Simple Radicals, we're on Spotify and everything, but
Yeah.
when you hear the song "Medicaid," that's Vernon Reid playing lead guitar, and we ended up using little bits and pieces of like 3 or 4 of his leads. Like the
Huh.
opening has got this really cool effect of this kind of this kind of up and down volume, and then we kind of took pieces of it and we edited it together and created the lead track. And
That's so exciting.
yeah, that was cool. That was very cool. And when
Wow.
we played a phenomenal venue called the Cutting Room in New York City. And we were so honored to be invited to play that. That's where John Mayer played there. Bowie's played there. Sheryl Crow. Some incredible bands have graced that stage, and we got invited to play the Cutting Room. And I texted Vernon because he lives, I don't say he lives, but he lives in New York. He lives in the city. And I said, hey, we're playing. Do you want to sit in and come play Medicaid?
Yeah.
And he was actually playing that night in the city, some other gig, but he's like, hey, if I wasn't playing, I'd have showed up. So
Yeah.
Damn. But anyway, so yeah, that was cool. That's my shit that happened with a real rock star.
I mean, that's really amazing because this is, you wrote the song and you played it for the agent, and he was like, hey, I want to share this song with this guy. And he liked your song so much that he did all that stuff for you. Like,
that was cool.
That's amazing.
That's my rock star moment without being a rock star. Yeah, that's fun. So
they haven't asked you to join the band yet, though?
They've not. I think I am not at all good enough or no, that's probably not going to happen. I asked him if we could ever open for them, and he didn't respond. So I'm going to take that as a no, but that's okay. That's all right. So we'll hope when we, if we ever play some dates in the, get up into your hood, you come.
Yeah, I'll be there.
You guys ever travel east?
You mean like, do my husband and I like travel, like
leave the house?
Yeah, right. We haven't left the house in a while. Well, so we used to live in New York. And I was telling you before we started, I lived in Connecticut for 3 years. So
it's pretty out here.
I hated living there.
Okay. I eat my words. Why?
I'm just really blunt, by the way. But why did I hate living there?
Quiet, little
yeah.
Although where you live, it's gotta be pretty quiet.
Yeah, I think I miss my family, but I think it's more than that. Like, because I love living in cities. I loved living in Chicago really a lot.
City.
But New York was just too much city.
A lot going on.
But I was ready to leave New York. But if Steve said to me, you want to go to New York for the weekend, I would be like, yeah, let's go. I love visiting New York. Yeah.
We've got a great gig on January 14th.
Yeah.
You're welcome to come. I'll get you tickets. Okay. I know the guy in the band.
Do you? Yeah. And I found Connecticut really unfriendly.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
how so? They just wouldn't like.
I just didn't. I made friends, but I just didn't find. I think that we were
Midwest is just friendly.
Yeah, and
it's not the Midwest.
And I think that I just knew that we were like in transition, that we weren't staying there. In fact, I made a very good friend, but it took a little while. We were there 3 years, and the whole first year, she literally said to me, I'm trying to like be friends with you, and I feel like you're pushing me away. And I was like, this is how psychologists talk to each other.
It's like a husband and wife talking.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I know I'm leaving, so I'm trying not to get close to anybody. She's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So we became, like close friends. And then I left, and so that was hard, but I was ready to, the plan was never to move to Milwaukee, but
here you are.
The joke is I moved here temporarily, 27 years ago.
It's a great town.
Yeah.
Great music up there. You go to Summerfest? There's some great music up there.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
We'd love to play Summerfest. As a matter of fact, I'm going to submit our material, see if we can get on one of the side stages.
That would be awesome.
Next summer.
Yeah. My husband's.
You know anyone that runs Summerfest? Any
runs?
Or it has an end to Summerfest?
I don't.
Okay, but
I'll think about it.
Okay.
There might be someone listening to the podcast who is involved in Summerfest. And if that's the case, you should definitely reach out to me or John.
Yes.
But shit that happens to me at gmail.com, or
you could go to the Simple Radicals page. And it's simpleradicals.com. That's or the Simple Radicals at gmail.com, and email me, and we'll come and we'll bring the band. We'll bring all of us.
Yeah.
We'll all play.
And
Maybe
and
Vernon will.
and then can I come onto the tour bus and get high with you guys?
You can, yes. I will bring the salsa and the salty snacks, and it's
Okay.
going to be small. It's not going to be quite like the big bus. It might
No,
be a
okay.
car
Yeah,
with
a
packed with
car.
equipment, but we'll find room for you, Stace. We will find room.
Okay.
I may not have good drugs. Will Advil work?
Yeah, really. Yeah, we
Great.
could really
Maybe
go to
some
town with some
CBD
Advil.
for your, I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out.
We're too old for that shit. Well, John, it was so fun to talk to you. I really appreciate, you sitting down with me, and it was
For having
great to catch up.
me. Gosh.
Let's not make it another, I don't know how many years till we chat again.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely think of some more shit that's happened to me.
Okay.
And maybe we'll come on for
Yeah.
another round of shit.
Awesome. That would be great. And let me know if you get to come to
It will.
Summerfest.
Yes.
I'll totally be there.
If you get the email before I do,
Yeah.
forward it my way. I'll be looking
Yeah.
for it too. But I am serious. I went on their website. You can submit material, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
see if we can get our band in. That'd be great.
Okay. Sounds
Excellent.
good. Well, you have a great night, and yeah, take care, okay?
All right, Stace. Good
All
to see
right.
you.
Bye. All right. That was